On Tuesdays, this block, we're going to get absolutely fucking pumped. So we only have two options for our primary lift on Tuesdays. My strength and power / barbell club crew is going to be rocking the split jerk. This will be a dedicated split jerk day because we haven't really split jerked in 8 weeks. What we have done is worked the push press. Hopefully you saw some big push press maxes, and now your strength that you can apply to the split jerk is higher than it's ever been before. We now need to add back in the technical component of the split jerk and look for some really big PRs there. We're going to be rocking top and drops for these as well. So we're going to start with some higher volume sets, looking at 4s, 3s, and then 2s, and then dropping it in the second wave down to 3s, 2s, and a big single at the end. Similar to our front squats on Monday, we're going to be using a pause in the bottom or the dip position of the split jerk on Tuesdays for weeks 1, 2, and 3. What this is going to allow is for us to focus on driving up through the bar and not just relying on the whip of the bar. It not only trains your muscles' ability to produce more force, it adds more positional strength. It's going to teach you to hold the appropriate positions by freezing in them. And also it's going to teach you to drive through the bar, because if you don't drive long enough, you're not going to get the bar high enough to get under it. Plus, it lets you work up to a heavy set, and that's dope. Over the first 3 weeks of the cycle, we're then going to drop the weight just slightly to allow us to hit some highly technical and productive sets at a similar weight for the same number of reps. And then as we move into the second half of the cycle and we lose the pause and the dip, we'll see that weight drop off just a little bit more for our back off sets to allow us to execute with absolute precision. For my build and tone group, it's all about getting peeled, jacked, insert whatever word, bananaed that you want to here, basically looking super good and building muscle that you can apply to all of your strength gains in the future. For this, we're going to be using the conjugate 5, 10, 20 method. Check out the link in my bio or the email we sent out or on Instagram. I put out like a 25-minute video about the science behind this. I'm not going to jump out into that here, but essentially you're going to be building up to a max set of 5 every single week of a movement pattern that changes. We're always going to be horizontal pressing, but the demands of the movement are going to rotate. So look for things like dumbbell bench, dips, paused bench, pin bench. Once you build to your max set of 5, you're going to reduce the weight slightly. You're going to stick with that same movement, and you're going to move into giant sets of 5, 10, 20. So the 5 is going to be whatever you maxed out to begin with, just at a slightly lower weight to allow you to still output on those sets. The 10 is going to alternate weekly too, with a slightly less loadable movement variation than what we used for the 5, still horizontal pressing. Then the 20s each week is going to be some tricep variation, allowing us to take the muscles to absolute fatigue on 3 separate occasions and continue to load different muscle fibers while making you jacked AF. The second part of Tuesdays is going to be all about accessory work. Think pulling, think shoulders, and think some accessory arms to build the pipes. 1, because being jacked is obviously dope. Number 2, because bigger muscles are just capable of producing more force. The bigger you make your muscle, the stronger you're going to be in all the things you care about. So hypertrophy should be a focus, even if your goals are more CrossFit oriented and less aesthetic oriented. And number 3, the way this is set up is it's going to be done via density sets or cluster sets. And so it's going to accumulate tons of reps near failure, which 1 is going to massively drive hypertrophy. But 2, it's also going to improve your muscular endurance, or at a base level, your muscle's physiological ability to withstand fatigue, which is what CrossFit is all about. So get jacked, get better at CrossFit, get a fat pump, and walk out of there feeling like you're carrying invisible suitcases, because it's Invisible Lat Syndrome Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen.